بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على إمام المرسلين وعلى آل أصحابه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Subhanallah, the title of this session is called Undisturbed Birth. But I think I've had the most disturbed couple of days ever, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And so let's see how this event goes, inshallah. SubhanAllah, it actually just goes to show how easily any situation can become disturbed. And it can be something very small, something that can really disrupt everything that happens. And subhanAllah, something like the birth, a sacred moment in your life, something that can really make the difference in your whole experience and journey and bonding as a mother with your child. So subhanAllah, having this sacred space and this time, your birth, being undisturbed, can have subhanAllah, a ripple effect on everything else in your life. And I think I really experienced this over the last couple of days in particular. So let's get going, inshallah. Oops. Okay, so before we start, I'm not quite familiar with some of you, so let's find out where you are in the world. So if you just type in where you are in the world, so we can see where you are. I am in Islamabad in Pakistan, in Simnidan. So we have US, Istanbul, mashallah, India, Bangalore, Islamabad, Pakistan, Karachi, Pakistan, Kuwait, India, Lahore, mashallah. Keep going. I know if you're just arriving. So where are you? It kind of gives me an idea also of which area you are coming from, which part of the world, and your birthing culture in that part of the world as well. India. Inshallah. Multan, Pakistan. Okay, Birmingham. Inshallah. I'm glad at least you'll be able to understand my accent. Rawalpindi, although the Brahmi accent's a lot stronger than mine. Buwaipur. Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, mashallah, all over today. From all over the place. So some of you are in the afternoon, some in the morning, and some in the evening. So whatever part of the day you are at, I hope you're having a wonderful day, inshallah. And I hope the next hour or so will be very beneficial in your time and well spent, inshallah. Okay, so why are you here? Why have you come here? Why have you taken the time to be here today? For those that are in Pakistan, a Friday evening. For me personally, this is family night, and while my family are downstairs, I am here, and this is something important for me to do here, even though it was in my vacation time, my free time. I still felt the importance of doing this, and I know all of you are very busy women, and you have taken time out, and so there is a reason why you are here. So what were those reasons? What is your intention for being here? And our intention for being here is going to put the barakah in the time that we spend together today. Being here sincerely for the right intentions is going to help you bring the best out of this time together. And inshallah, it will be a form of reward and a form of ibadah for you. Just by making sincere intentions, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, Hafsa. Are you mindfully present? I know I've had lots going on today, with family and all my other commitments. and getting here relaxed and being mindfully present took some work. And we all live very busy lives, I know. And there's always so much that Allah tests us with. And so sometimes just detaching ourselves from everything else and then coming to this space to truly unwind and relax and open up is something that is actually a quality that women have been blessed with. We can deal with a lot of things and still be here mindfully present and engage in things that we need to engage with, inshallah. And that's just the way Allah has designed us, which is why we are the perfect mothers for our children, the caretakers of our home and our families, inshallah. So we'll start with this dua, because it's something, it kind of makes me remain focused as well. اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. Oh Allah, I ask you for beneficial knowledge, goodly provision, and acceptable deeds. And I truly hope that this will be beneficial knowledge for you, and that it will act as a goodly provision of you and be in your mizan of hasanat, inshallah. Okay, so for some of you that I have who are not familiar, I'm going to close my chat, and co-admins, I'm going to leave you to go for it because I just find it a bit distracting. So I know, mashallah, some have answered this question, so I'll really go through it with you at the end, inshallah. If you guys can just put save some of the questions that I think that are important for me to answer, I will do so, inshallah. I plan to go through this session. It won't take too much long, inshallah. It won't take too much time. And then I'll be answering any questions at the end on any topic relating to pregnancy, birth, and postpartum, inshallah. So you can save your questions. Anything that is coming up for you during the session, if I'm asking you, you can engage. Otherwise, for now, I'm going to just ignore the chat for a while until I ask anything specific and wait for the questions towards the end, inshallah. So, about me. I do need, if my sound goes off, someone needs to let me know, inshallah. So, for those who don't know, I was born and raised and educated in the UK, as you can tell from my accent. If I am talking too fast, please tell me to slow down. I have a habit of speaking fast, but alhamdulillah, I think I've slowed down a lot over the years. So originally my background on my studying in university was actually in biotechnology and medicine, and I wasn't really going into this sort of area of work that I do today. And subhanAllah, this is just the qadr of Allah, because none of this was planned. I did not map out my journey like this, and it was circumstances and situations, and one thing led to another, and in Allah's perfect plan, He brought me here today. I went on to be a clinical respiratory physiologist. I worked in Great Ormond Street Hospital for children. So, subhanAllah, I was always around science, medicine, and even children, subhanAllah. After I had my first child, I stopped work and I went on to have a few more children in the UK. And then that's when we decided to make hijrah and leave the UK. And first we lived in Morocco for 2 years, and I had a child there. That's also the same time when we started a positive birth advocacy movement in Morocco, and that was really because of my first experience outside the UK, having a baby in a Muslim country that was so un-Islamic compared to what I had experienced in the UK, despite being a Muslim country, subhanAllah. Moved on to Egypt, spent 4 years there, again another pregnancy there. And again, same issues, and this was starting to think, make me wonder what's going on. And it was quite sad. Then I moved on to, in Egypt is also when we started Mariam's Womb, which is the organization that is founded by Sister Najla, who, mashallah, has just had a baby. I'm not sure if I was meant to announce this, but it's been, alhamdulillah, I think it's okay. But it's a special secret, keep it between yourselves for now. And it was a beautiful birth, mashallah. And we'll get her to come in and share her story, inshallah, possibly next month, inshallah. So Mariam's Womb is the organization that I represent and work with. Then we came to Pakistan, alhamdulillah. So my parents are originally from Pakistan, but they went to the UK. My mom went to the UK, I think when she was about 12, and my whole family's there. I have no family here in Pakistan. And the fact that we made the leap to come to here was, a shock for my parents, to say the least. But alhamdulillah, we are here. It's been 4 years now. It's been, a challenge, lots of highs and lows, but mashallah, alhamdulillah, this is actually what led me to what I'm doing today. So I have, alhamdulillah, had another child here in Pakistan. So altogether, I have 7 children, Allahumma barik. Birthed all over the world, experienced different birthing cultures, different systems. All of them have been, natural births, some home births, some hospital births. And my last birth here in Pakistan was probably the most undisturbed, out of all of them. Although all of them were, 6 out of 7 of them were undisturbed in very different circumstances, alhamdulillah. And I think that, had really led me to, gave me the confidence and the inspiration to really, understand that this was the norm. There was nothing different about this. This was like, this is how it should be. This was the blueprint of birthing. And so when I came here, to Pakistan, and I started seeing all of these different births, and even in Egypt and Morocco, and even in the UK, when I was hearing about people's births, I was like, hold on. This is not normal. This is not how I know how birth to be. And in fact, every single birth that I was hearing about was pretty traumatic. And this was becoming the norm. And I thought, this is not what a normal birth is. And then when coming to Pakistan and meeting the people here, and, you know, people not being able to look at you in the eye and talk about their birthing experience, I was like, whoa. And then when they find out how many children, I had 6 when I first came to Pakistan. And at that time they were like, how could you? And I was like, subhanAllah, I did not understand where that was coming from. In fact, I had to keep my 7th pregnancy quiet. You know, that was truly undisturbed. I really could not explain it, share it with anybody, because I thought it was just so, such a stigma with it. Subhanallah. But alhamdulillah, I knew this was something that had to change. And, immediately I went into action. And, I went in and really went into some professional trainings. So now I am a holistic midwife in training, and that was the reason why I actually went into that, was because as I was educating mums and was providing support as a doula, I realized that what I was doing was far more. There was that one of the earlier births I was at, and I was, despite them being a midwife there and a doctor there, I was telling the couple what to do. I was talking them through it, and they had to tell the medical team to leave the room so that they could birth their baby. And then they came back in. And when that happened, I thought, you know, I didn't really like being in that situation, you know, and that's when I decided to go into further studies and continue to do, and it's been non-stop. So for the last 4 years, it's been non-stop studying. And alhamdulillah, it's a good thing that I enjoy studying because I'm also homeschooling my children, all of them. And so this whole, life here seems to be just in our books, and alhamdulillah, we enjoy it. It's something that gives us purpose. And that's how it's been over the last 4 years. So there's just a few certifications and some, things that I thought would be relevant to share. So I think the main thing, really is probably, the holistic approach I take to things. Now, I was very particular about what I wanted to study. I felt everything was very medicalized, and it didn't resonate. I didn't resonate with it. It wasn't what I was seeing. It wasn't what I was experiencing. And so this wasn't the type of, birthing that, I felt was how Allah had designed us to, and to go through. And the reason why I'm sharing all of this stuff about me is because what I'm about to share with you today, and anything else that I share with you in the future, you can understand my background. You see where I'm coming from. It's always important to know the person that is delivering to you, and to get the whole picture, to understand their mindset, to understand, you know, their background, and that this is very important. So in Pakistan, in the last 2 years, and obviously everything happens at the same time. Nothing happens, in simple one thing after another. In a couple of years ago, we moved into an area where we are actually out of choice, off-gridding. So we are not connected to electric or water. Basically, sufficiency in this land that we own. And subhanallah, this is a plain land, and without anything done on it, and we had to actually work on a building. We're still working, building our home. And subhanallah, when that happened 2 years ago, that at the same time, my work in birth work intensified. I didn't plan it to be like that. It's just all of a sudden I was overwhelmed with a lot of people in need, and educating and supporting them. And subhanallah, in the most intense of circumstances, all of these things were happening. And subhanallah, it just reminded me of how the birthing world is at this moment, in this stage of this dunya, where we have a lot of fitan. There's a lot of difficulties. There's a lot of hardships. People are just lost and they don't know what to do. And now they're coming back to basics. And it was very significant in my own personal life and in what was going on and around the world. And I felt it kind of correlated. So even though, had I chosen, I probably would not have done it during this time. But Allah made it happen. And His wisdom is the best. And then I am just, I guess, riding the ride. Alhamdulillah. So that's all about me. The other thing was that, a new project that we are starting with is the Nurturing Village. As a result of the work and the people that I am working with, we realize that there's a lot more that needs to be done. And it's not just about birth. It's about pregnancy. It's about pre-pregnancy. It's about the youth. It's about postpartum. It's about going into menopause. It's about women's health in general. And so the Nurturing Village is something that we have created, and that we are going to be running a lot of projects under this. And inshallah, I hope it will spread across Pakistan and the rest of the world. I hope it's something that will it be instilled in the whole ummah to go back to that nurturing village that we need. And if anything that Gaza has taught us is that we are one ummah, and we are there to nurture each other. We are here to nurture each other. And I pray that we are able to do this in every aspect of our lives, whether you're a mother at home, whether you're pregnant, whether you're about to give birth, if you're in postpartum, whatever you are doing, whichever part of season you are in your life, I pray that you are part of your nurturing village, and that you are nurturing the women around you, inshallah. And the most important information out of all of this is that I love dark chocolate. Why is that important? Because that's what keeps me going. Alhamdulillah. Okay. All right, so just some certifications and trainings and mentors and people that have played a very significant part in my life and what I do, and what kind of shapes me. These are the most important ones for now. There are other things that I'm planning to move on to, or currently doing, which I'll be sharing later in the future. But at the moment, all of these are the ones that feel very important and key players in what I do. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so I just want to start with a disclaimer. And that disclaimer is what I'm about to say and do is from me. It does not represent it does not represent any of these organizations or any of these people behind these organizations or my mentors. They certainly nourish and nurture me and help me evolve. But what I'm about to say, or whatever I share in general, is from me. It is my opinion. It is my perspective, and any mistakes, anything that is wrong is from me only. Not from anything else. It is from me. And anything good, anything that you feel beneficial is solely from Allah. It is what He has instilled in my heart. And this is very important. It is very important for me to share this, because what I choose to do is not represent anyone or any institution or anything. Everything is fi sabilillah. It is for his sake. Because for me, if I'm not doing it for his sake, then there is no barakah, there is no benefit, and there is no purpose in anything that I do. So even if there are, for example, I've done a few trainings, there's some things I don't agree with everything. But what I feel that is in alignment with what Allah has given to us in His Quran and in the Sunnah, then I take. And if there's something that I feel that it isn't, regardless of what the organization is, regardless of what research paper I've been presented with, if it is against Islam and if it's against the one that created us in dunya for all times, then this is something that I do not support. And I have no problems with saying that out loud. And that's just me. I'm transparent. What you see is what you get. And I want to be very authentic. Because if you are going to be working with somebody, then you want honesty, you want integrity, you want to feel comfortable with them. You want to see them for who they are. And being authentic means that you're going to see their shortcomings. You're going to see their failures. You're going to also see their strengths. But that's life. That's human. We are human. And we don't want to hide that because we all make mistakes. And I want to take off this mask that everyone, especially women, tend to wear, because they have to feel they have to be a certain way, they have expectations, and they have to try to be someone that they are not. And what's happening is women, are getting more and more lonely, more and more, they're not able to be their true selves, and instead they are suffering. And this is not what I want from you, and this is not what I hope that I'm, sharing with you, inshallah. Any information shared does not replace any medical advice that is needed when needed. And this is really important. Many people come up to me and ask me all sorts of things, as a replacement for medical advice when needed. This is not, a place for you to come for medical advice when you certainly need someone to see you. You don't choose to do something in your life and ignore what your body is telling you, because this is the aql and wisdom that Allah has given us all. This is the intelligence that we need to use, and we need to use wisely, inshallah. As well as all my trainings and everything else that I have done, especially in the last 4 to 5 years, the most important aspect of my learning and my knowledge and my growth has been the women themselves. It is actually being with women. It is being in their company. I have learned more from them than they have learned from me. And this is where I've learned. This is far, far deeper than all of my textbooks, far deeper than any of my trainings and my mentors or anything else. It is the women. And it is all these wonderful women that we have seen, subhanAllah, that we have lost count. And it's so many in the last few years that, people normally see over 10, 20 years. SubhanAllah. But it actually goes to show how important and the need there was, how there was a big gap and it needed to be filled. And alhamdulillah, I have seen changes that in such a short time that I never expected. And I'm talking about changes where I had mums say to me as I started this, that it is impossible, you can't do this, you can't change this, you can't do. The very same people had the most wonderful births the following year. So alhamdulillah, and if it can happen here, it can happen anywhere. And these subhanAllah, the first births were actually global births, births that it wasn't even in Pakistan. And subhanAllah, these are not even like simple, uncomplicated births. These were births that had a traumatic past. These were births that came presenting with lots of different conditions. SubhanAllah. And this is all from Allah. Allah brought us here together for a reason. And it's up to us to carry on with this and spread it, inshallah. And it's a responsibility that we all have. So what is a normal birth? Now this is a question that I'm going to ask you, inshallah. And it's something that I want to ask everyone that is here. What do you feel is a normal birth? What is a normal birth to you? So if you're still here and you're listening in and you're able to have access to the chat box, Type in describe what a normal birth is for you, or what is usually considered a normal birth. Because when I came here, and still even today, I'll ask, so how was your birth, and describe your history, and what was your birth, and everyone said, oh, it was normal, it was good, it was normal, it was normal, it was normal, and subhanallah, I was like, okay, and I thought, okay, that's good, because what normal is to me was something amazing. But when they said normal, their face did not show it was amazing. Their body language did not show it was amazing. And subhanallah, I thought, okay, if this is a normal birth, then what's not a normal birth? And what I realized afterwards is a normal birth was described as one that did not have surgery. Sorry, not even surgery. One that was not a cesarean. And I think some of you have already said that. So just going through the comments. Undisturbed intervention-free vaginal birth, a process from Allah subhanahu wa bringing the baby out, a birth with no extra intervention, especially if they are unnecessary, anything which is not a C-section, yeah, subhanallah, intervention-free birth, let's see, the birth mentioned in the Quran without surgery, vaginal birth without interventions. So usually a vaginal birth is usually considered it's when a woman listens to their body and must trust in Allah Almighty, not doctors, hospital. Marwa, is this Marwa from DHA2? Just want to check if this is the same person. This is somebody else. Yes, so subhanAllah. True, yeah. Mashallah. I thought it might be you, and it's been ages, and that's why I just wanted to check if it was you. And it's even more fascinating because of your answer, mashallah. Jazakallah khair. So a lot of people have so mashallah. So everyone would say it's kind of like an intervention free or not having a cesarean is often considered a normal birth. So what do you practice a natural world where every doctor said natural birth isn't common and now in many girls. Mashallah. Okay. So when I went to, so this was in my first year, I was actually expecting, but I didn't tell the doctor. I was actually there to support another, a friend actually. And we went she wanted me to accompany her to the doctor. And then she said to me, I was talking about natural births. And the doctor turned around to me and she said, first of all, this doesn't happen here in Pakistan. This is not the US. This is not the UK. Natural birth doesn't happen here. I said, well, why? And she said, because the women in Pakistan, are weak. And I was like, what? You say to me that the women in the UK and the US are stronger than the women, and the women in Pakistan are weaker? Who told them that they're weak? Allah designed us all the same. We have the same blueprints. Allah designed us, with the same capabilities and strengths. Why is it that, some women are stronger than others? Who is saying that they are weak? You have already labeled them as weak, and you have, without even knowing them, have labeled them all and said they are all weak. And then I said, and then I described the natural birth and what it means. And she said, yeah, this is good. But, the women, they come and they scream for, they can't cope, they can't handle it. And they can't, they ask for all of these things. And then I said to her, then what is it that you should do in their pregnancy to ensure that they have a natural birth? Because having a natural birth, intervention-free birth, doesn't come from them just turning up to you and you actively managing it. They need to be prepared, just like with anything else in life. So I said to her, if they are having a natural intervention-free pregnancy and they are educated and they prepare their bodies, or they will not be the ones asking for all of these things. And I said to her, I guarantee you, every woman that I send to you, they will be prepared. They will know what to do, and they will not be asking this. And then she said, yeah, if they have a natural pregnancy, then they can have a natural birth. But you can tell that she wasn't convinced. But alhamdulillah, you know, mashallah, jazakallah khair to her. She was very open, and she was interested, and she was curious. Alhamdulillah, the friend that I was with, did end up having an intervention-free, undisturbed birth with her. Not because of the doctor, but because, circumstances, subhanallah. Originally she didn't want the husband to be there, but at the time, she had no one else and asked the husband to come in whether he wanted to or not. Subhanallah. She didn't even have time to do anything and apply all the stuff because this mum came in and she was just ready to birth her baby. So that was her first exposure. And then subhanallah, because of that exposure, it was very easy for her to accept others. And there have been other doctors like this who have also said the same thing. And I have even one doctor in Islamabad who, and if she knows that the mum has come from me, she actually writes on their paperwork that this is for his patient. She's got even a room, especially for the ones that go there. But then it's not her. You know, mums have had, a good birth at that place, but it wasn't because of her. It was because the mums have gone in and say, no, we're going to wait. In fact, they don't even go for unnecessary checkups, and they only go when it's needed. And she respects that because there's something. The reason why she likes the mums that I sent her is because they're not the ones that are coming and screaming. They know what they need to do, and they do it. They take care of themselves. They don't need anything else. They're just there to birth their babies and come home. So they're very easy for her. And any doctor that has experienced a natural birth, it's actually quite pleasant for them because they actually do not have to do much. And I remember one doctor even saying to the mum, well, what am I here for? What am I meant to do? You know, just stay there and watch me. If I need you, I'll ask you. But there isn't actually anything that you need to do. So generally, this hospital, or the hospital set up like this. So if you go into the hospital and it's set up like this, then you know that, okay, this may not be, although this is not so bad. But not so bad in the sense that, you know, this bed is like kind of raised, you know, that things can be done, but then you've got these stirrups and the white walls, and it's not really a nice and welcoming place. You've got the CTG machine that usually there's a lot more equipment around there. And this is what is considered a normal birth. A place to birth normally. And this is what everyone has accepted as being normal because it happens. So the following is not normal. And I'm just showing this for anyone that is, still unsure or didn't realize. The following is not normal unless requested by the mother with informed consent. Well, what that means is that she knows the pros and cons of each of these. That's informed consent. Informed consent is not, you know, we're doing this to you now. Without, you know, asking them, you know, is it okay if we could do this? And these are the benefits and these are the risks. Do we have your permission to do this? We don't get that in most places. It's considered as normal and that you need to do it. But if you are well informed, then you will know that it's okay for you to question these things. It's okay for you to ask. And if the doctor is not happy with you asking, then this isn't the right place to be. So frequent vaginal examinations, they're not needed. And this is not normal. Membrane sweeps. And subhanAllah, I was shocked to hear that, you know, doctors are doing this at 36 weeks just to get things going. Unnecessary inductions. So induction that is not needed. And an induction is, you need to have a really fair, a reason to say if an induction is required. And I'm talking about natural and medical inductions. Neither, are needed. Rupturing of the waters. So rupturing of the waters, breaking of the waters, and how it seems to be, I remember one, of the births where the mum turned up at the end and the doctor was really upset because, you know, the membranes, the waters were bulging out as it does as you're about to birth your baby. And they're like, why didn't you come earlier? I would have ruptured these at the beginning. I was like, why would you do that? It's part of the physiological birth. It actually supports the birthing mother and the baby. So this is not something that should be done. Again, you need to ask why it's being done, whether it actually needs to be done, and what are the advantages and the risks associated, because there are more risks associated to it. Continuous fetal monitoring. Why is it that your baby needs continuous fetal monitoring? It is not a medical scenario. It is not a complication. You giving birth. It is not a high risk situation where you have to have continuous fetal monitoring. What does it do? It limits what you can do. It's an added distraction intervention. It's a disturbance. No eating or drinking. By the way, the thing with the CTG machine, the one that created it for high risk situations only. And subhanAllah, he even himself regrets creating this machine. Why? Because it hasn't decreased the number of high risk situations. In fact, all it's done is increase the rates of cesareans and also increase the rates of babies in ICU. So it was never meant to be something that was used all the time. It was only for very high risk situations. No eating or drinking, not allowing the mum to eat or drink. Giving IVs, to disrupt the physiological process of what the body knows how to do. Anemia, emptying the bowels. No freedom to move, flat on your back. Episiotomy, being alone. All of these are not normal, and there's a lot more to be, added to this list. But these are the, the main ones, inshallah, that I wanted to add. So what is normal? When a mother feels cared for, when she is feeling loved, when she is feeling safe, when mother is not rushed, when she is nourished, when she is nurtured, when she is relaxed, when she is free, her mind, body, and soul is free. Mother-centered, meaning that she is the center of everything that is happening, and she leads the way. This is what a normal birth is. And this is something that we have to return to, and it's something that we have to renormalize. This is what normal is, and this is how normal should be. And anything but this is not normal. And to be made to feel that all of this is not normal is wrong. And it's something that we need to start with changing our mindset. We need to make sure that we do not feel this way. And we shouldn't be made to feel this way. Just like how we shouldn't be made to feel that all of these are normal. The more people that speak out and say this, this is not normal, this is not normal, doctors are now understanding. Doctors are, in fact, some of them are getting really fed up at some places. They don't like you saying that you don't want any of these. But they're getting used to it now. That's how we're going to change things. It's from us. So a lot of these things is stuff that I normally say, but I wanted to share with you an article from the Journal of Perinatal Education. Now, this was published in a couple of scientific publications, and the article was supporting healthy and normal physiological childbirth. And this was researched by 3 of these midwifery organizations, and they put this statement together. And this is in international scientific publications that is meant to be recognized by the world. So, and I've just taken extracts from this that I thought was very important to share. Why? Because I want to share that this is not me saying this. This is what is considered in the birth world, in the scientific world. In 1996, the World Health Organization, and this is an organization that most people, look up to and respect, called for the elimination of unnecessary interventions in childbirth. Yet currently there are few resources to assist maternity care providers in achieving this goal. So they already made a statement of getting rid of these interventions. This statement will assist maternity care providers, women policymakers, and payers to protect, to promote, and to support human childbearing physiology and to avoid overuse of interventions, therefore achieving better care, better health, and lower costs. So there's benefit in this, and this is something that we need to realize. It goes on to say and defines what a normal physiological birth is. And it is one that is powered by the innate human capacity of the woman and fetus. So what that means is that Allah has designed our body in the most perfect and divine way, that it knows how to go through labor and birth a baby. It's innate. It's within us. We have everything that we need to do this. So a physiological labor is allowing the body to do what it needs to do. It's already inbuilt. It's done. This birth is more likely to be safe and healthy because there is no unnecessary intervention that disrupts a normal physiological process. Some women Okay, can you guys still see my screen? Or it's just gonna... Okay, still there, I think. Okay, are we back? Okay, are we back now? Okay, good. Okay, let's continue. So, subhanAllah, this birth is more likely to be safe and healthy because there is no unnecessary interventions that disrupt the normal physiological process. SubhanAllah, so this is the norm. This is how it's meant to be. Some women or fetuses will develop complications that warrant medical attention to assure safe and healthy outcomes. However, supporting the normal physiological process of labor and birth, even in the presence of such situations, has the potential to enhance better outcomes for the mother and infant. SubhanAllah, even following the physiological processes of labor and birth, even though there may be some complications, still has a better chance of an outcome for both the mother and baby. It does not mean that because someone's told you that you have gestational diabetes or you have had a previous cesarean or these aren't risks. These aren't high risks. It means that even more so you should be trying to optimize the physiological processes of your body, because your body is going to adapt to those changes for your specific baby and your specific health, because that's how Allah designed our bodies to. It's to design our bodies to survive. But we just need to take care of this. We just need to tend to our bodily needs. And subhanAllah, every person, every mother, every baby is unique. Every journey is unique. So we can't treat every person in labor the same. And this is not how I treat every person the same. This is why I can't give generalized answers and answer generalized situations, because every person is unique. Every baby is unique. Allah has put these together and has got a unique way for these two to transition into this world in a safe and healthy way. So this article continues and says, what is a normal physiological childbirth? It is categorized by a spontaneous onset and progression of labor, meaning that it doesn't get started by something or someone else. It does it by itself. It is spontaneous. It includes biological and psychological conditions that promote the effective labor. So this is biomechanical, biochemical processes that happen in our body as you go through labor and birth that transitions you the whole process without you needing anything. It's all within you. It's there. It's designed in you. The whole body is connected, from your brain, your heart, your soul, your digestive system. It all plays a part in your laboring and birthing time. And it's something that we need to respect, something that we need to accept, and something that we need to embrace and not ignore it. It results in the vaginal birth of the infant and the placenta. Don't forget the placenta. It results in a physiological blood loss, and this is normal. You're meant to lose blood. Don't panic because there's a blood loss. It facilitates optimal newborn transition through skin-to-skin contact and keeping the mother and infant together during the postpartum period, and supports early initiation of breastfeeding. The physiological needs of a newborn is supported when the mother and baby stays together. That's how Allah has designed this baby to survive. And any baby, that it needs to be with the mother that it just came out of. This is normal physiological childbirth. This is a normal birth. So what disrupts it? Again, it's still someone. This is not me speaking. This is from the article, the journal. So what stops it? Induction, augmentation of the labor, speeding things up, getting things going. An unsupportive environment, time constraints, nutritional deprivation, not giving them anything to eat or drink and giving them a drip instead. Medication, anesthesia, episiotomy, a vacuum or force. I remember when I first came and I asked how, when I had my 7th birth here, and the questions that people would ask me was, oh, was it a big operation or a small operation? And I remember, that's stayed on my mind ever since. I was like, what do you mean a big operation or a small operation? And then I realized, with births, you either have stitches on your belly or you have stitches on your perineum. And that's standard. This is not what is normal. It's like, I didn't have any operation at all. It's like, vaginal birth shouldn't be this so invasive. So whether it's an episiotomy or the use of vacuum or forceps, it should not be the norm. Neither should it be expected. Immediate cord clamping. Clamping the cord immediately disrupts the physiological birth. Separation of mother and infant. Any situation in which the mother feels threatened and unsupported. Again, this is not me speaking. And the reason I keep saying this is because everyone is always thinking, who is she? Who is she coming to say all of this? Just because she had birth like this, something special, whatever. No, it isn't. I'm not special. I didn't do anything amazing. And alhamdulillah, we have 10s, 20, 30, almost 100 now of women who had births like mine. And the last birth recently, subhanAllah, I remember she just gave birth and she was like, it was just like yours. It was just like your last one. And I laughed. I said, no, this is how all births should be. This is normal. But she meant that it was actually literally just like mine, meaning that she slept through it or she just got up to the bathroom and she birthed her baby. And that was like, somehow it was so sweet. It was so nice because this is normal and it's nice, to say people to be happy and share their births. And this is a normal birth and this is how it should be, inshallah. So how did we get her? What happened? Why is it that we are not having these normal births? And Michelle Audent is a obstetrician, French obstetrician, and has done an amazing work in the birthing world. And he says we lost our way. And he's done excellent work. Despite, being an obstetrician, he actually has seen a lot of stuff and realized, subhanAllah, we made a mistake. We've done it all wrong. We need to go back to how things used to be. One cannot this is a quote of his, one cannot actively help a woman give birth. The goal is to avoid disturbing her unnecessarily. We shouldn't be, she's got what she needs. We need to help support what she needs. We need to help support her, not disturb her, but help her do what she needs to do. And subhanAllah, he actually goes into a lot of detail about the advanced medical technology and how it's actually disrupt birth, and how the medical system and how we actually got this way, because it used to be a place, women-centered, and women knew what to do and they got skilled and experienced, and your doulas were the ones, your mums, your sisters, your friends, they knew how to take care of you. And it wasn't like, they needed special skills. It was like women who loved you, who cared for you, who knew, took care of the kids, who took care of everything else so that you could just do what you needed to do. And that's to birth your baby. And in the modern day world today, we have doulas to do that, alhamdulillah. We have that support, alhamdulillah. And that, things aren't the way they used to be. We don't have that family set up. We don't have that village, but we can still recreate things. We can still go back to how Allah has designed us to birth our babies and go back to the way, the perfect birth that is described in the Quran by Maryam alayhi salam. And use that as an example, because we know with the Quran it is here for our guidance, for that time, for the future, and forever, and for all of humanity. Not just for the people of that time, and just like birthing. Oops. Okay, you can see I really get into this. Okay, inshallah, I'll try not to take so much more of your time. Um, so an undisturbed, so a physiological birth is what is considered a normal birth, what is considered an undisturbed birth, a natural birth. So when someone says to me natural, when someone says to me undisturbed, um, uh, when someone says to me, uh, Subhanallah, I don't know if did you record Karen recording after it cut out? I'm not sure. If not, then we'll have to do it another time. I'm not sure. Co-host, if you can just record if it's not recording. So what is undisturbed? What is natural? All of these is a physiological birth. Now, I try to not use the word normal anymore. I try not even to use the word natural anymore because that definition is still very different with different people. What is undisturbed? Let's go through a birth together. And, we have the clinical stages of labor. Let's see how it is to really go through it, inshallah. So I want everyone to just relax, take a big deep breath in. I think I need to. Out. Okay. Fill up those lungs. And out. Okay. Nice, long, 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 long breath out. Okay. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to feel the seat that you're sitting on. Or maybe you're lying down. Let your body rest on whatever you're lying down on, or on your chair, or on your bed, wherever you may be. Just feel what is grounding you. What is anchoring you to the ground. And just relax. Sink in to whatever you're feeling. Close your eyes. Put your hands on your womb. So you don't need to be pregnant. I just want you to put your hand. Every woman has a womb, and it's very special. It deserves our love. It deserves our touch. It deserves our respect and our honor, because this is something beautiful and amazing that Allah has bestowed upon us. So hands on your womb and just stroke your womb and relax. Keep your eyes closed. Hands on your womb and just feel it. Let it stroke. That's okay. Just let it go. Bismillah. Stroking my womb. Relax as can be. Alhamdulillah. Without realizing, Allah has blessed this baby inside me. Conception happened without me realizing, without me even knowing. All within Allah's plan. This embryo growing and growing inside me, even before I knew. The blueprint of this baby within the first 6 to 8 weeks has already been defined by Allah, who put it there. Alhamdulillah. This baby grows and grows. And I realize this baby inside me is now a part of me. It is my amana and something that nourishes me. I continue to nourish myself, taking care of this amana. I take care of my body, my mind, my soul, and my heart. For everything that I do, that I think, that I feel, this baby also feels and receives and nourishes from. So I realize what I think, what I feel, what I eat, all helps and is released into this baby. when I am happy, when I am sad. This is helping this baby grow. The release of these hormones in my pregnancy that Allah has orchestrated with perfection helps this baby grow, helps me grow. I get bigger and bigger. This baby and me together, we become more and more connected. I start to feel the kicks. I start to feel the moves. Baby responds to me as I eat, as I smile, as I cry. Together, we journey on, undisturbed. This is a unique journey between me and my baby. We disconnect from everything around us, and we connect to our baby, to connect to each other. We are getting closer and closer. This baby knows everything that I do, and I know everything that this baby does. There is no separation. I become more focused on what I eat, what I drink, how I feel, how I respond, how I react. And this baby responds accordingly. I reassure my baby that things are going to be okay. When I've had a difficult day and I'm stressed and my cortisols are releasing and the adrenaline is kicking up inside me, I let my baby know it's okay. Mama loves you and we will get through. This continuous connection helps us both to be focused, helps me protect my amana and this baby to nourish and nurture and for its brain to develop and its soul to be enriched. Because I know this baby inside my womb is being affected by everything that I do and everything in its life, its brain, its everything in its neurological health starts now. Everything that I do is going to affect this baby in its childhood, in its adulthood. I recognize this and I work with this. So together, me and baby navigate this journey. We continue to go through life as it is. Through its ups and downs, its roller coaster of a journey, and together we support each other. This baby is becoming bigger and bigger, and I am becoming bigger and bigger, and I can feel this baby, and baby can feel me. Together we know that it's time coming soon, and soon we'll be meeting each other. As this baby is preparing, and I am preparing, our hormones in our body are priming and prepping for us both. My endorphins in my brain are being released. The oxytocin is increasing. My uterus is receiving. And the contractions begin. My gut is lined with its immunity, primed by the hormones that are being released by me, preparing for this baby to emerge, preparing for the transition into this world. For every physiological aspect of the laboring time, for my body that is innate within me, is preparing for the best outcome for both me and my baby. For our survival, for our thriving. So I let it be. I continue to take care of myself, to be in tune with my body, to listen to my baby, and to nurture and nourish every aspect. And together we go on. The sensations, the waves come and they become more and more intense. The adrenaline that starts at the beginning helps me prepare, helps me to go into to the place where I know I need to be safe. and for me to think clearly on what I need to do. And then I move on as things become more intense. I know that I need to go into my alternate state of consciousness to be undisturbed and connect to my baby for our mother and baby dance so that we can work together and continue and embrace these powerful sensations as they are not painful. They are not painful. They are powerful. I know what's happening and I will support it and I will encourage it and we will work together. Things are coming to an end. I can feel myself detaching from this world as I reach into the depth of my consciousness, as I slow down and I connect deep, deep into my soul where I can feel my baby. I know what's happening and baby knows too. In the peak of intensity, as my baby is telling me, I'm ready to come now. Catch me, mama. That adrenaline keeps me sharp, keeps me clear, keeps me active and ready to welcome my baby. My baby emerges into my arms, stares back at me. We have a connection, love at first sight, as we remain together, mother and baby, undisturbed. I look up and see around me my birthing team, the ones that I love, the ones that support me, the ones that did not disturb me, that just witnessed me and supported me at my time of need and welcomed both us, mama and baby. Okay, you can wake up now, open your eyes. Hope you guys are still with me, inshallah. This is normal. This is what can happen. This is what happens. And this is something that everyone can enjoy. Because birthing is something to enjoy. Labor is something to enjoy, to embrace. And is not a burden that Allah has given to us. I pray that every mother is able to receive this. And this is something that everyone has the capability to receive. So what is stopping us from getting there? What is stopping us from having this birth? What is stopping us from having a normal physiological birth? If everyone is feeling okay and you guys are still there. So what is stopping us? What is stopping us from having a birth like this? A birth that Allah has designed for us. Our fears and anxieties. This is actually something that has the biggest key. The biggest thing that actually stops us is our fears and anxieties, or the fears and anxieties of those around us, or the fears and anxieties around everybody else. This is what is stopping us. And someone's mentioned lots of pressure by the NHS. I know the NHS well. And it's sad that he's got this way because it never used to be like that. But what are we doing to allow the pressure from these places to come to us? It needs to stop it needs to stop. And sadly, even I know mums that are confident and, are able to do it. But when they go into the team that they're with, or maybe they don't have a choice to choose their team, it's their fears and their anxieties that are coming towards them. So we need to get into states of consciousness where you block everything out. We need to address these fears and anxieties in ourselves and in the people around us and in whoever you choose to have connection with in your birthing time. One of my mentors, she mentioned a belief system medicine. It's one of her elders that described it to her, and this is what she says. So is you have medicine and you have this belief system medicine. So our belief gives rise to our thoughts. So what we believe creates our thoughts. Our thoughts create emotions. So these same thoughts that are derived from our beliefs, they create emotions. And it's these emotions that create a physiological response. Remember, pregnancy and birth is a hormone-led event, and our emotions are dictated by our hormones. So these emotions create a physiological reaction in our body. So what do we need to get rid of these emotions or have a positive emotions? Go back to the thoughts. And how do we get our thoughts? We go back to our beliefs. What is our beliefs? What is our core beliefs? This is something that we need to think about, and this is something that we're going to need to take action. And subhanAllah, when I went through that, my son reminded me of something, and he was saying, "Oh, that reminds me of a quote by Ibn al-Qayyim, who was like, subhanAllah, the heart doctor of Islam. If any of you know his work, so this is what he said to me, and he was really talking about habits and traits. And so this is a quote, and he says, "Fight the thought, for if you don't, it will become an idea. But if that happens, then fight that idea. For if you don't, it will become a desire. But if that happens, then fight the desire. For if you don't, it will become a determination. But if that happens, then fight the determination. For if you don't, it will become an action. And if you do not counter that action, it will become a trait and habit. And it will then be difficult for you to leave that trait and habit." So it's talking really about negativity and negative thoughts. Now, negative thoughts comes from shaitan, waswas. And we need to address this. So we need to go to the cause, the root cause of what is being filled in our heads. So the thought becomes an idea becomes a desire becomes a determination comes into action, and action becomes traits and habits. Now, if this is a positive thought, and it turns into a positive desire, and a positive determination, and positive action, and a positive trait and habit, then subhanAllah, mashallah, it becomes an act of reward, an act of righteousness, something amazing. However, if it becomes something negative, then it is actually within our control. These things are not within our control. It is within our control. So what can we do to help? To deal with our belief system, to understand our core beliefs, to what is it that is creating our limited thoughts? First of all, we need to get educated. Not only get educated, but take action on that education. You need to do something, like you're all here today. You need to go and take action and do something with this. Whatever you've learned, don't let it be something that becomes a burden on you. You need to do something about it. Dig deep and find you what your fears are. And sometimes it's not a nice place to go. You do have to dig deep. You need to kind of slow down, relax, and go to places where you may not want to go, because you may need to unravel emotions that you may not want to unravel. But that's where the healing comes from. That's where growth comes from. Debrief your previous births. If you've had a traumatic time, even if you haven't had a traumatic time, but it wasn't maybe the best of times, debrief it. Understand what happened. Invest in good holistic prenatal care. Now, this is very important. A lot of people come to me and say they want to have a natural birth. Can you be there for labor and birth? Can you do this? You need good prenatal care. What does that mean? That means that throughout your whole pregnancy, you nourish your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul. It's not just about eating all the right things. It's about making sure that your mind and your body and your heart and soul all accept that food that you are taking in. Because if you are stressed and your nervous system is unregulated, your body is going to be on survival mode, and it's not going to make the most out of all that good food that you are eating. Do not ignore prenatal care. Having an undisturbed experience does not mean that you don't have people around you. You do have people around you. You have people to support you because Allah did not create us to do this alone. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to understand what to support the body. Now, unfortunately, in the times that we are living now, we don't live the best lifestyles. We don't live in the best places, in the best of circumstances, have access to the best of food, organic foods. We need to go back to a natural type of lifestyle. But then it doesn't mean that we can't have the perfect birth, a great physiological birth. It just means that we need to pay extra attention. And that means getting that prenatal care. If you want that, like that doctor said, if you don't have, if you're not having a natural pregnancy, if you're not doing what you need to do, giving the body your attention it needs, then, you're not going to be available to yourself at the time of birth. Hire a supportive birthing team, and that can be anyone. Do not do it alone. The team can include your family, it can include experts, professionals, but people that are supportive of your needs, and you remain the center of that birthing team. Research your birth. Research the birth location, the birth protocols, birth practices. Know what you're going into. Don't go in blindly. Prepare and plan your labor and birthing time. Understand your physiology. Understand what your body needs, so you know that this is normal. You're meant to feel like this. This is okay. Accept it. Embrace it. Work with it. Be patient and persevere. Don't give up. Optimize your mind, body, and soul. What that means is actually doing your best to really nourish your mind, body, and soul. Get your body in the best condition so that your body can do what it needs to. Give your body what it needs to have this physiological birth. Trust in yourself and trust in Allah, the one that created you to do all of this. And dua, dua, dua. Okay, we're going to go over to some questions. Before we go over to some questions, I just want to share some of the things that we are doing here in Islamabad and online. So for those who want more information or need to get educated, then I do have a 10-week childbirth education course. Contact me directly for all of those details. I usually run it every month or every other month. The next one is on Wednesday, this coming week. I may delay, but I think this will start this week, inshallah, because I already have people waiting to start. It is never too late to do this. Earlier, the better. In fact, I think with this particular group, most of them have only just found out that they're pregnant. Subhanallah. And it is the best time, because if you haven't already realized now that everything starts from day one of your pregnancy, if not before. For those that have done a childbirth education course from me or from anyone else, then I have a service called the Divinely Designed, which is a virtual midwifery service where you get one-to-one prenatal care throughout the remaining part of your pregnancy, up to 6 weeks postpartum. I'd love to do it for longer, but I need to stop it somewhere. I did get very attached to these mamas, but it's very difficult to go post 6 weeks. And that includes labor and birth. Again, you have to have completed this or any other similar course to be eligible to get this service. I know a lot of people have asked for this service, but unfortunately, I'm very limited to how many I can offer. And I get booked pretty quickly. I think it's after August now that I can take people on. So if you're due after August, then inshallah, you can ask me about this. You can message me directly for the Divinely Designed service. The Nurturing Village, it is something that we have started in Pakistan. It includes various projects. The next Nurturing Village event that we have that is open to everybody, and it's not just related to pregnancy and birth. It is for all women, for mothers to get together to create a sisterhood and to address the needs of the community. And the next one will be the end of May in Islamabad, inshallah. And in addition to all of this, I do one-to-one consultations, and you can message me directly for this. It is very difficult to have a conversation over WhatsApp when you have a need. So that's why, in order to get the attention and that you need, I offer a 30-minute consultation addressing any needs relating to any of this, including women's health in general, inshallah. Okay, so questions. Is there anyone with any questions? Co-admins, is there anything that I missed? What's the time? Okay, not too bad. All right. Okay, yep, you can ask questions directly as well. I've got some direct questions, but I'm going to go through to see what there is here. Okay, I'm assuming it did get recorded. Do you provide support in the UK? Yes, I do. I have a few mums that I'm working with there. Okay, my 2 GP midwife would challenge all my decisions. Limited scans at the end. I felt very much fear-mongered into doing it. The birth did not go as wanted as I was induced, which resulted in C-section. I want to know what answers I can give to avoid this. Okay, good. Yes, I do work with mums in the UK. If you want, you can go through a debriefing session with me, and we can go through what happened. You do have more options than you think. In the fact, in the UK, you actually have consent. So really, I think it really is more to do with your attitude and your body language when you're talking to people there. And I've had to do it. I had to go back for my 6th baby. They wanted me to be they thought I was high risk. I knew I wasn't, and I had to be firm and make sure that I got the birth that I wanted. It can be challenging, but there are ways around it, and I do feel it is a bit easier there, but you just need to know what to say and what to do, inshallah. Please explain to me where the doctor is in Islamabad, who you said is like having mums in to take your calls. There are a few doctors, not just one. You can message me directly and I can give you that contact details. However, I only tell her about mums that have done the course with me and who I support, who I know are in good health, because then she will treat them differently. That's the difference. There's mums that have been there and they've had traumatic experiences. So it's not for everyone. So message me directly and I'll give you that contact, inshallah. During my first birth, my baby did go down into the hip bone cavity despite my pushing and doing as the doctors told me. I was told my body is too small and my baby was too big to come out and ended up needing a C-section. Okay, what was the weight of your baby? What's the size of your baby? Your baby, if your baby wasn't wasn't engaged yet, wasn't entering your pelvis, you shouldn't be pushing. And that's a mistake that a lot of doctors make. You shouldn't be pushing. You don't need to push. There's things that you can do to work with your body to help your baby navigate down the pelvis. But there's actually things that you can do in your pregnancy. Now, what I've been doing recently in the last 6 months is work with mums in their pregnancy to prepare their bodies physically. That includes releasing any restrictions, working on their previous history, because if I know that the mother had, for example, a long pushing stage, or they had, the baby wasn't engaging, then I know that there's something on with that body and that there's some realignment issues that need to be managed, and something that has been very successful, in fact. And it's been really good for me because it means that I don't need to do anything during labor and birth. It's been pretty nice, actually, because the babies just come out, alhamdulillah. And there's a lot of work that I do during their pregnancy that enables that to happen, especially because I work virtually. And so I want the very best. I want them to be fully equipped for their labor and birth, so that they actually really don't need me. And alhamdulillah, that's made things a lot easier for me and for them. So there's no such thing as your baby is too big or you being too small. The cost for my services, you can message me directly for that. Why does someone doesn't get labor pain? I think what you mean that is about why they don't go into labor. Everybody goes into labor. And there's some things that restrict that, and that could be the position of your baby. Your baby needs more time in your womb because there is no deadline. There's no expiry dates. We want to make sure that everything is well, though. The body and the baby has everything it needs. And by the way, some people don't realize that they're actually in labor until they're about 7 centimeters dilated. I had one mum like that. She's like, I didn't even know that I was in labor until they checked me. And they're like, everyone started to panic. I was like, no, I'm okay. That's fine. So, but what I'm assuming is you mean that you didn't go into labor. You didn't start getting contractions. And there's various reasons. One, the baby's not in the right position. Baby needs more time in there. You are not relaxed, allowing the oxytocin, the love hormone, to initiate the contractions. So there's lots of reasons why that could be. For your specific circumstances, I don't know. I don't know how long you waited. Was it like 39 weeks, 40 weeks? Was it 42 weeks, 43 weeks? So you need to, inshallah, maybe message me directly, with that. Okay. During my birth, I felt like I need to go to the bathroom due to pressure down there and on my back. I had an urge to go to the toilet so frequently, but it was the baby pushing down. What position would help in this situation to get this baby out? Baby doesn't need to be made to get out. You just need to follow your instincts and do what your body wants it to do. It's not about getting the baby out. It's about following what your body wants. There's no rush. There's no time frame about getting this baby out. The baby knows what it needs to do. If you feel that you need to go into sujood position, or if you feel that you need to sit on the toilet, or if you feel that you need to lie down, then you do what your body's telling you to do. But adding that extra pressure of, I've got to get this baby out, that's not going to help. And there's very specific positions for specific situations, and for a specific person. There's nothing that you can, say, yeah, you should do this, you should do that. Okay, I think I can read this out. I'm interested in this course, though I'm not pregnant. I'm 39 and I wanted to try to conceive after fibroid surgery. However, when I tried to conceive, I had questions about my uterus having problems due to the surgery, and the doctors put a thought in my mind that it may be a fallopian tube on the uterus that may have issues and that had to be ruled out. So I need to undergo a laparoscopy procedure to see if the organs are fine. Is this normal? So they suggest me to go for IVF, asking me to take contraceptives without explaining with fun. Okay. Okay, so number one, the first thing you need to do, I'm not sure which country you're in. First of all is you can't go with opinions. You need to go with data. What research, what tests have you done to go through what they are saying that has happened? Get second and third opinions. Do your own research about it. It is something that you need to get more information about, inshallah. And it is not something that you just go with what somebody has said to you. You need to go and take the action, inshallah, and do your own research. Get the information that confirms what they're saying to you before you decide what options that you have. So I suggest you go through that, inshallah. Does fostering meconium require getting an immediate induction? Nope. In fact, it's the opposite, because you don't want to, if your baby is pooping, and usually sometimes the reason why the doctors get upset is because, baby's stressed, something's going on. By immediately inducing that baby, you're putting a lot of pressure. If you understand what is induction, it's actually putting a lot of pressure onto that baby and disrupts the physiological process of that birth. And that actually causes baby more stress. Meconium isn't an issue. You want to know, first of all, is the baby well? How's the CTG? How is the baby's well-being? If the baby is well, then, just meconium can be, it's a natural process of labor. It's not a big deal, providing everything else as well. Or would you recommend, if you live in a country where the natural birthing process is not really provided for and the standard is very low, particularly if you don't have the option to give birth in another country? You take lead of your pregnancy. You get the best available service that is around you. Just because the standard is very low doesn't mean that you can give birth in the best way that you can. You don't need to leave the country to give birth. I've given birth in a country where it wasn't supportive, and in an unsupportive system I couldn't have a home birth, which is what I wanted. So I went into the system, I birthed in the system, but I did it my way. You don't really need much for the birth. You just need to make sure that you know what you need to do and to facilitate that physiological birth. Especially if you're having to try and be back. There is no difference for whether it's a first time mum, whether it's a sixth time mum and you're trying for a VBAC. There is no difference. You still have the same chances as anybody else in having a physiological birth. So don't let that deter you. If meconium is spotted, can you wait for natural labor? That may result in a few days more of laboring rather than opting for induction. Again, these are questions where I don't know your background. I don't know what else is going on. I don't know why, if there's a reason for an induction. I don't know your medical health. I don't know the health of your baby. But generally, I would say that if meconium is spotted, you can wait for natural labor. You need to monitor it. You need to make sure that your baby's okay. And also I have to say, you need to make sure that you are not doing anything that is creating this meconium. Or stressing your baby out, or things that are happening in your body, external factors that are encouraging this. Okay, inshallah. I think we're going to end here because it's quite late now, and people have hung on for quite a bit now, inshallah. So we're going to end here. Jazakumullah khairan, jazakallah khair for all the questions, jazakallah khair for everyone that has been here and taken this time out. So I hope this session was beneficial for you. I hope it shed some light on what a physiological birth is and the importance of how to adhere and support one, inshallah. I hope that even if you're not pregnant, or planning to have any babies, that you have this mindset that this is what is normal and that you share that mindset with everybody else. That you share this mindset with everybody around you, so we can normalize this thought, that we can normalize natural and undisturbed births, inshallah, in whatever capacity that may be. You can have an undisturbed birth at home, you can have an undisturbed birth at the hospital, you can have an undisturbed anywhere in the world, inshallah. It is down to you. It's down to what you are feeling. It's down to how you navigate it. It doesn't matter who's around you, whether you have nobody or whether you have everybody around you. What makes the difference is you and your mind, inshallah. Okay, alhamdulillah. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.